Wisconsin is a state known for its great beer.
And behind every great beer is great brewing, great people, and great stories.
On this show, we're going to be talking to the people that are responsible for making the beer that we love.
We're here at HopCat in Madison, and this is Behind the Brews.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hi, I'm Fred Swanson. With me as always is my buddy Mark Alfred. We're here at Milwaukee Brewing Company in downtown Milwaukee. We're going to talk to our friend Jim McCabe, find out what's new at the 9th Street location. Let's go on and have a beer. Walk us through the ale house to the first production facility to today.
Or even pre-ale house.
Pre-ale house.
Well, pre-ale house was the classic home brewer story, but I think what was unique about that was I was working for an environmental engineering firm here in Milwaukee, and I would travel out to our headquarters in Denver and our technical place in Corvallis, Oregon, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was like, holy cow. I always loved the beer culture here in Milwaukee, but this was, loved the product, loved the small scale. As an engineer, I loved the small scale production, so it was from there that I said, I'm doing this, and Milwaukee's gonna love it. So that was the figure out how to quit my day job. They wanted to transfer me out to Denver to my dream job, and I said no, which is still kind of legendary in the company, because I said I'm going to open a brewery in the late 90s, and that's what the ale house was. Is the business plan said, not the right time to do this, where you're pulling on rubber boots and trying to load trucks. It was time to teach Milwaukee about craft beer with kind of a West Coast style pub. Big place that we could serve a lot of beer, and it was, one pint at a time.
Why ales? What did you feel that this was a specific style that was appropriate to Milwaukee or to Wisconsin?
Well, I felt like I understood the beer culture here as the pride in industrial brewing back then was amazing, and we still had several large breweries, and Schlitz had only recently closed and things like that. So there was a lot of pride still in the big lagers, and I just fell in love with these full-bodied, full-flavored ales, and what even lagers could be. So that idea of the ale house was to try to flip a switch and say, this is definitely not trying to be another German pub. It's going to be a new experience in beer.
Talk a little bit about being kind of one of the cornerstones in this new entertainment district with the new space. I mean, we've got the new arena going up, we've got this space going up, we've got the Pabst complex happening. Talk about how you fit in and how this all started to come together.
It came together as we knew we were going to run out of production space at 2nd Street, our current production facility, like 5 years ago. You could see the trajectory and that this was going to be a problem. Basically, with what I feel is this intense responsibility with the name Milwaukee Brewing Company to be a destination for the public in a city that's proud about beer still. And so we had to be what I call the reverse mullet. We had to be a party in the front, business in the back. We need a place where trucks can get in and out of here real easily, but not interfere like they do over at 2nd Street with the public experience. And in a place people will go. There's a lot of cool industrial properties in parts of town where people just don't hang out. So always knew about this Pabst building, but at the time this wasn't really available within our reach, but awesome location for all those things. So when the arena came to us, that tipped it in for sure.
Now, you have a long history of partnering with other Milwaukee companies, much like Rishi Tea. How does that come about? And then how does that partnership not just become an equipment partnership, but an ingredient partnership?
I think it's just the nature of loving the community you're doing business in. We're not here by coincidence, and we didn't come from somewhere else to do this. We're really proud of doing things here. So that plays heavily into some of the relationships that are happening here in the new brewery, and it's just the nature of loving what we're doing. And Rishi, for example, started the same year we did across the street from the ale house, and those guys at the time had shoulder length hair, and they'd come walking into the ale house asking if we could help with some of their test batches of tea. They were just starting out. That evolved when we opened 2nd Street and we had extra capacity, and we started talking to their head tea maker. It's sort of like their head brewer, but it was fun. And we developed that R&D relationship with them, you know, from the get-go, just working late night and playing around with it, and many things have evolved since then and continue to with that company.
So I'm going to switch gears a little bit. So in the backdrop behind us, we have Godzilla. And I've always been curious. Tell us a little bit about that.
Our head brewer, Kurt Mays, at the time when he was hired, 2nd Street was in its infancy of production, and we're our current packaging facility. And he was still working part-time as a kitchen manager over at P.F. Chang's. And believe it or not, for a chain, they do all fresh prep. So he was a phenomenal brewer and food guy, which is an important thing to us. But he started playing around with some of the ingredients he was using at work in a couple of brews, and they were way off of where OG ended up. But he was starting to get down that road where he created these monster Asian spiced beers, and so the name was Godzilla in-house until we found out that would get us in huge trouble to put that on the can. That's where OG came from, is kind of playing off of still the monster Asian wit, playing off the OG original gravity. He's a bit of an original gangster too. He's a monster.
Give us a little insight now into what you're going to do on 2nd Street. That's going to evolve. That's going to have a different feel. It's not going to be the big production unit that it is, the
Right.
engine driver.
Right now, it's like the Millennium Falcon, shaking, and it's going at warp speed and can barely hang on. And it's been doing a great job at doing it, but it's pushing every limit that it's got. So it's a very capable facility, and in the time we've been there, the neighborhood's blown up. It's really a great pedestrian area. The tours are great. So we're going to tone production down to being able to expand our barrel aging stuff, do more of the funky stuff over there, and we're actually in-house calling it the Funk House or Sloppy Seconds, because we're going to be expanding on some sours and some things that we really feel we've got some great recipes and processes for, but we don't have the ability to produce right now. 9th Street here at the Pabst facility is going to be, you know, where most of the mainline, you know, year-round beers come out of, and most of the high volume packaging.
So I'd like to thank you very much for having us out here at Milwaukee Brewing Company.
Thanks for being here.
And for all you viewers out there, I'd like you to tune in to us at isthmus.com/Behind the Brews to see what adventures we're up to. And let's just have a little cheer.
Cheers.
Cheers.